Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, run it back. Run it up, then run it back.
Happy Thursday. Yes, it is Thursday. Welcome to Run It Back. Lou Will, Chandler P, Michelle B. Man, Pacers stunned a lot of people last night. Me? Not so much. Perhaps the two gentlemen to my left? Yes, they did. Big win for Indy last night. 2-1 series lead now. Halliburton, 22-11-9. But, oh, my goodness, Mr. Mathurin, 27 points off that bench. McConnell had 10. He's like a little hummingbird out there. SGA with 24 on 20 shots. And we had Jermaine O'Neal on yesterday talking about this series and what needed to happen in order for the Pacers to get the win last night. Halliburton needed to play like a star. That was his quote. Lou, did he?
I felt like he did. And watching that game last night, I came to the realization we have to start loving and respecting Tyrese Halliburton for who he is versus who we want him to be, right? Like, this is who he is. He's a facilitator. He's a playmaker. I was proud of the fact that he led this team in attempts, but that wasn't even the most important thing. Like, he just was making the right plays last night. He realized other guys were having it going, and he were finding them. Like, you look at these plays right here. He could easily go one-on-one right here with SHAI, take his chances at the rim. Instead, he's patient. He makes a play for the next guy. This is a contested three, but he's confident in his shot. He took every opportunity that he could to be aggressive. That's what we've been asking him to do, you know, sitting here and discussing this series. I love the temperament of last night. I love how sturdy he was and the way that he attacked and the way that he went about it. We'll talk about Ben Mathurin and TJ McConnell here shortly, because I think those are the two guys that won this basketball game for them. They were the big difference makers in making big plays. But again, man, Holly, he was great last night. You got to give him his credit when it's due, because again, we've criticized this guy. Is he a star? Is he a superstar? Is he this? Is he that? He's 2-1. He's up 2-1. It doesn't matter what you want to call him, what you want to say. And he's learning. But listen, he shot 50% from three, right? Some of these were contested. He attacked the rim. He made plays. What else do you want from the guy? I thought he played a brilliant game.
Yeah, I never liked the negative slander when it came to him, because, like Lou just said, that's not who he is.
Fair.
That's not who the Pacers want him to be. Do we want to see him more aggressive in his demeanor and his assertiveness like we did last night early in the game, and not wait to the fourth quarter and have 5 points going into the fourth NBA Finals series? Sure. But last night, I think it's the exact version we need from Tyrese Halliburton, what the Pacers need. It's just his direct line. He catches it, he goes, he plays off the catch, he plays off the bounce. He's not hesitating. And whether that's taking 13 shots or 17 shots, it's just him being aggressive, asserting himself early, making OKC defend and guard him and as a real threat offensively, because he can be. But again, his strength isn't going to get 40 points. It's damn near having a triple-double. It's getting defensive rebounds and pushing the break and getting the break started even faster than they normally do on a different miss when someone else rebounds the ball and kicks it ahead. So he does so many things to impact winning. And when he plays fast and he plays aggressive like this and gets downhill and gets in the paint, that is where their offense really thrives. And yeah, I think he does need to look for his shot a little bit more, especially when their offense gets stagnant, knowing they don't have that many shot creators for anyone else outside of him, Siakam, and Ben Mathurin. He's got to be aggressive at times, but this is who he is. And if I was a player, I would want to play with that guy. I don't want to play with the jacking, scoring point guard. I want to play with Tyrese Halliburton, who is setting me up and making my life easier.
Yeah. Last night, he went 5.5 minutes to start this game without his first attempt, right? And I'm screaming at the TV like, bro, you got to go.
Because you know he's heard it for
I'm like,
2 straight days.
Bro, you got to go. And then I started watching it from a different lens, and I realized, okay, this is the time that they allow Siakam to get going.
Fair.
Start the games. They rely on Pascal to get the ball moving, get them going in the post, and start early and often inside of the paint. And so I was like, where is the aggression? Then they start creating turnovers. Once they created turnovers, he's attacking it in the front. He's attacking in the full court. But he was passing in it, and I still was upset. I'm like, bro, finish some of these. But it ended up working in the end, because now you look at 5, 6 different guys in double figures. He was the one that was making the plays and making sure those guys that those guys had a rhythm that he created for them. And then after that, he began to get going, and now teams had to play him. They had to play him honest on the offensive end.
Yeah, and again, we can nitpick the shot attempts. It's just the aggression. Sure. It's just him being a threat, making this great defensive team guard him as he can go off for 30 points, 35 points. You just have to always be a threat. And again, when he plays fast, when he plays off the catch, when he doesn't hesitate, there's such a better offense, and he's so much more effective on the offensive end. And I love when he gets the defensive rebound. He's a big guard. He can get defensive rebounds and push the break and start the break and make this team even faster. And they're one of the fastest teams in the league.
Oh, my goodness, yeah.
That is his value. Not jacking 25 shots. And we would kill him if he did that. Now all of a sudden it's a problem that he's a pure point guard. Like, it's ridiculous.
I think you're just not used to seeing it lately.
Yep.
Like, it's just been different.
Yeah. And he still found a way to lead them in field goal attempts.
Yeah.
Like, so as much as
they want it. He's their best player. He should most nights, but that's not necessarily his strength.
That's not who he is. Yeah.
But also how we define best player needs to also be, there's a nuance involved with Tyrese Halliburton's game, I think, that's not just a stat line read, as you normally possibly would, but the bench last night, the two benches, 49-18 and outscoring by the Pacers of the bench of OKC. Chandler, that's a hard one. That's a hard stat to look at if you're OKC.
Yeah, and as much credit we give to OKC and how deep they are, they got completely demolished last night in production and points. It was the bench and defense last night for Indiana. Look at the defense. They had 13 steals, 11 blocks, and they forced 17 turnovers of a team that usually takes care of the ball. SGA had 6 turnovers last night. We'll get to him. He was extremely sloppy. He looked tired last night. But that is credit to the Indiana Pacers defense and how hard they played. Nembhard was physical early on, so yes, their bench was great. TJ McConnell was unbelievable. I mean,
TJ McConnell was the MVP.
Dude, he legitimately made history
MVP of last night.
He must be so annoying if you're the other team, like, because he's everywhere.
And again, Mathurin, 27 points. They don't win this game without him. They don't win this game without TJ McConnell. Just the energy, the spark, the way he gets the crowd involved, the deflections, the offensive rebounds, the second chance opportunities that he creates with his size. It's just all heart. It's all hustle. And the dude is, he literally just stole the ball like 3 times
just,
on
like,
inbounds.
everywhere.
He did it 5 times.
I'm like, I'm just talking about on inbounds.
Had to be annoying.
He did it 5
what
times.
are we doing? Like, be aware that he's doing that. It's like the Grand Theft Auto.
After 2 or 3, you're like, all right, where is he?
Holy smokes, but that was unbelievable. Their bench completely outplayed them, and there was just a different tenacity of their defense last night. Miles Turner was blocking jump shots, for God's sakes. Like, they were just all over the place.
Man, I remember I had a coach. He used to say, don't give a team extra opportunities to beat you, right? TJ McConnell, 5 steals.
Yeah.
Let's say that's 5 layups. That's 10 points, right? How much do they win by? 9 points.
Yeah.
Don't give a team extra opportunities to beat you, especially when you're just being lazy, taking the ball out of bounds. And you have to be, at this point, you have to be aware of everybody's tendencies. We know TJ McConnell is a hustle guy. We know he does the Jose Alvarez thing where he creeps around and he tries to steal inbounds. Everybody has to be aware of those things. They let him get this off 4 to 5 different times during this game. One, he just literally caught the ball. He snatched it and laid the basketball up. It's like, bro, yeah, just I thought OKC looked sloppy. I thought they looked content. I thought they felt like OKC was going to hand them a game, and Indiana was going to. I said it the right way.
I know, I got you, yeah.
But Indiana did everything that they were supposed to do to win this game, especially at home, their first home game in this series. But TJ McConnell was incredible, and we haven't even begun to talk about Ben Mathurin.
Yeah, I think 10, 5-5 first finals game, you know,
off a bench
player making history. All the other guys
only guy that's made it to the finals from the Sixers process.
And what's unbelievable
Shut up. Is he the only process success story?
He's the only process success story.
Make a shirt.
And this is the story of the Indiana Pacers, right? It's not, is Tyrese Halliburton a superstar? It's not who should have won the conference MVP. It is this collective team that plays hard as hell, that defends, that are buying into Rick Carlisle's scout. They are trusting him, and they're just playing the right way, and it's working. Everyone knows they're not as talented as Oklahoma City Thunder. Everybody wrote this team off. No one thought they'd be here, and they just keep proving everybody wrong. They keep continuing to play hard. When they're down 20, their demeanor doesn't change. They're resilient. And last night, they looked like if I didn't know anything, but if I didn't watch any basketball this season, and I watched that game last night, I'm saying that team is way better. They play way harder, which is crazy at this point in the season.
Some of us say that already. It's weird.
OKC in 6.
No, it's not. It's not. And by the way, it's going 7.
It's going 7.
You know it's going 7, and you know why it's going 7.
Yeah.
It's Chandler's fault. Or you can credit him if you want. But the Rick Carlisle of it all as well has to be, and I know it's just not. It's not one of the louder stories, but I do think there's something to be said for, again, what he does, how he gets this out of certain players. I love that they showed McConnell's dad a few times, who's like a coach who's just very intense the whole time. There's just a lot going on. I don't want to skip over Ben Mathurin as well, because while McConnell had himself a night, so did Ben Mathurin, finishing with 27, again, off the bench. The bench is what we're talking about. You got to pick one, Lou. I'm going to make you pick one.
I'll be honest, it's going to be TJ McConnell for me.
Okay, fair enough.
I got to go with TJ McConnell because, again, some of these plays don't show up on a stat sheet as big plays, but man, when a guy steals an inbound pass from you 4 to 5 times, those are back-breaking plays because it's a lack of detail, right? It's just a lack of awareness. And when a guy can do that to you, it's just demoralizing. It just
back-breaking.
Yeah, it's back-breaking. Like, it just takes your energy all the way down when you're the opposing team, when somebody can do that. Now, we've seen somebody make shots. We've seen somebody get hot off the bench and all of those things. But I've never seen somebody get so many steals from inbounds and make you pay. It's one thing to steal the ball from inbound. Look.
That's funny to me.
Make you pay.
It's CARUSO.
Do you know how much a play like that hurts you if you're the guy that throws that pass? That is a back-breaking play. So I got to give it to T.J. McConnell and the impact that he had last night. Very sturdy, but the way, if that's his job, he's employee of the month.
He gets a raise.
Yeah, that was nice. He's employee of the month, Chandler, by him doing his job. But Ben Mathurin was amazing as well.
It's true. And you talk about home court advantage and what that means in this playoff. And McConnell provided that home court advantage last night. Like, you know what I mean? He came in, he gave the exact spark that they needed. He gets the crowd involved. He's barking at him during the, when Dagnall burns timeouts. Like, those are the energy plays, and those are the guys you need on your championship roster. Now, Ben Mathurin is a stud. He's a guy that should be starting on other teams, that's embraced this role. He's 22 years old, top 10 pick. Like, this is expected of him. But to be shining like he is in his first playoffs, in his first NBA Finals, like going and getting 27 on kind of, I feel like every game for them is a must-win in this series. This was big time from a 22-year-old kid to step up when all the talk has been about Siakam, all the talk has been about Halliburton, and he comes up and puts up 27 on this defense. But those cats guarding him, this was a hell of a performance. I don't even want to pick because they were both so valuable. Obi Toppin was great last night. Of
course.
Like, everyone was great. Their bench absolutely dominated, and their defense was on a different level last night.
They were talking about Mathurin because he's injured at this point last year during the playoffs, and so he got one of those calendars made where it's the countdown from when he had the procedure and like every day he would go in the back and rip the day off. So he's been waiting for this, and last night was such a pinnacle for what he was waiting on. The Halliburton of it all. We know Halliburton is on social media. He's quite good at it. He sees everything. And he could not possibly have missed all of the talk. Again, you give us 2 days in between games, what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about Halliburton needing to be more aggressive, and he took 17 shots. He's hearing everything, right?
100%. And by the way, thank God Game 4 is tomorrow. At least.
Oh, you have no idea.
You have to wait 3 days.
But then you get to.
But 100%. And you know what? He listened to the film that he probably watched out.
That's what I was going to say.
He listened to Rick Carlisle and this staff that is now showing him how they can improve, how he can assert himself offensively, how he can assert himself defensively and get in the passing lanes like he did last night to create easy buckets. How can he get defensive rebounds and do a little thing like kick ahead to Siakam at the end of the game to get a layup to pretty much ice it, late in the fourth quarter. So he listened. I'm sure he hears the noise. Even when people say they're on social media, like they still have to do media after shoot around after games. Like you still hear it. You're still reminded of it every single day. And I think this was a great response of how people have always doubted him. Obviously, the overrated stuff. Everyone's talked about him in a negative light. I think games like this shuts everything else up, and winning cures everything. And he's doing that. So hats off to him. Again, this was great. But he listened to the film, man. He listened to his coaching staff that was just breaking down. In the playoffs, it's all about counter. It's a chess match, right? Yeah. It is counter after counter. How can OKC respond after this? None of them have lost back-to-back games in the playoffs. So I expect the Thunder to bounce back. But the fact that we're sitting here talking about the Pacers being up 2-1, nuts.
I agree with you, Chandler. He definitely watched the film and he made his adjustments. But if he is listening to outside noise, he was watching Run It Back. Because because I said it, you can't play East and West. You got to play North and South. You got to put constant pressure on the defense, especially if you're going to be ball dominant and that ball is going to be in your hands the majority of the times. You got to make it happen. And yesterday, I thought he did that. He made plays for everybody. He attacked. Baseline, he was attacking. Front, he was attacking. The floater was going on. Like, yes, his game is weird, it's quirky, it's off balance, and it's good. It works. Yeah. It works. We got to get used to it. But he used his scoring ability to be a dynamic playmaker, and that's what they needed, and they got him a big win last night.
And be that triple-double threat. We talked about he's a big guard. He can do everything. He can impact winning. He can defend. He can get steals, block shots. He takes care of the ball pretty much better than any point guard in the league. Like, he is such a safe blanket for this team. Doesn't mean you can't be aggressive, though, at times, too, especially when this team needs you. So I think that's why we nitpick a little bit when we see their offense get stagnant, when we see them go, on a 6-7 minute runs on a drought with no scoring. We look to their gold medal Olympian. We look to their All-NBA, their All-Star, you know what I mean? And so when that's not there, that's when we get nitpicky. But games like this, triple-double threat, doing a little bit of everything, this is who he is.
Also because like a guy like Mathurin can go off, and then in the next game it could be NESMITH. It could be any, that's why it's such a fun
You guys
team.
remember what I said a couple series ago about Mathurin? I said, yo, he has to remember he got to hoop.
Yeah.
Like he was getting caught up in the antics and trying to be tough and physical and be disruptive after the whistle. Like, yo, don't forget you still got a basketball game to play. This series, you hadn't heard anything about him trying to mix it up with guys and anything. He kept his head down. He wanted to play a good game, and boom, finally. You explode for a big game. You attack. You shoot it well from three. None of the antics is out of the window. You refocus yourself, and you can have a big game like that based on doing the right thing.
Before this game, I just think about him and DeAndre Hunter like getting into it and kind of being that nuisance.
So you haven't seen that since.
Yeah.
Shout out World Team. So that was a good win, and obviously they're up 2-1.
Great win.
And both of you have been very vocal in your OKC in 6 picks.
Still alive.
It's very much still alive, but I'm wondering if there's just, I don't know, an inkling of doubt perhaps, Chandler, that's starting to creep in, that maybe perhaps the Pacers not just can win it, but can finish this in 5 or 6 as well.
Yeah, it would be weird if we didn't feel a little doubt. And again, I think they deserve to be up 2-1. You know, I mean, the comeback they had in Game 1, then to get blasted in Game 2, to respond like this on your home court is exactly what you should do. We just talked about how it's a chess match and who's going to counter the best, who's going to adapt and make adjustments and watch film and be prepared. The Pacers were prepared last night to win. And I mean, listen, we're looking at possibly the biggest upset ever.
I was going to ask you that too then. Okay.
It's not like this is a crazy pick to take the Thunder, but this is a team, wasn't a top 3. I think it was the first time a non-top 3 seed or defending champ could win a championship.
If they either defending or top 3.
Again, we're talking an historic run here of a team. Like, everyone had the Cavs, the Knicks, the Celtics. Like, no one thought the Pacers were going to be here. So the fact that we're even talking about them this late in the finals, up 2-1, is remarkable. And yeah, they are primed in position. If they get Game 4, it's a wrap. Like, it's Game 4. There's a lot of basketball to be played, but this next game will show me a lot about both teams.
We keep saying that.
Yeah, and seeding doesn't matter to me as much, right?
No, not this time.
When you get to the NBA Finals, I'm just as good as the team that I'm playing against. I have just as much as an opportunity to win a championship as the opposing team, and Indiana has believed that. They haven't been a low confidence team this entire playoffs. Every series that they've went into as the underdog, they felt like they can win that series. And so now being up 2-1, still having another game on your home court before you got to go back to Oklahoma City, they're going to put themselves in prime position to pull this thing off. I think OKC will respond. They've been that type of team all year. I don't think that our thoughts of them doing that is different now because they're down 2-1. But again, if Indiana continues to play this way and they can get 50-plus points in production out of their bench, it's going to be tough for OKC to climb out of this shallow hole right here.
And now they're playing with house money. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they got Game 1.
I don't think they can't look at it like that.
No, but think about it. They got Game 1.
Yeah.
Then they put Game 2. Now they got Game 3 again. Now they still have to beat the Thunder 2 more times.
Sure they do.
So it is by no means
They can't
over.
get comfortable.
No, and they're not going. You can't be this late, right? Even Mathurin's, comments after the game, he reminded me of SGA. He was so serious, and I wish I could grab a camera right now and celebrate, but the job's not done.
Nope.
And so, like, they have the right mindset. There's no way Rick Carlisle is going to let them take their foot off the gas. But, man, this was a huge game. It was 80% of the teams that win Game 3 win the series. So, like, that was a huge, huge win and pivotal for this series.
There's also context, I think, when it comes to seeding. Like, if you're not paying attention and 5 years from now, you just go look on the internet and you're like, oh, they were such a lower seed. But that's what it's going to look like. But if you've been watching the end of the regular season into the postseason, Indy was one of the hottest teams. And so for me, that is going to be a part of the story if you tell it in its entirety. Want to break down a play? Let's break down a fourth quarter play, shall we? Here we go. The NESMITH CARUSO moment.
Good
questions.
Foul.
Okay, but is it flagrant?
No, that's not a flagrant foul. That's a good, hard playoff foul. Look, foul, both arms, making sure you don't finish. That's one thing that they tell you in practice. When you start talking about hard fouls, just make sure a guy doesn't have an opportunity to finish. We've gotten so used to everything being so soft and being reviewed every single play down the court. We forgot what a hard playoff foul is. That's what I'm watching right here. Nothing malicious about this. No follow-throughs, no pulling him down, no staring him down, nothing at the end of the play, guys running in and escalating it, make it look worse than what it is. I thought this was a good hard foul. Shoot your 2 free throws. Let's move on.
Yeah, I agree.
That's nothing.
I agree with Lou. I personally don't think it's a flagrant foul. I think it is the epitome of playoff basketball and a playoff foul. Now, if they're going to be consistent, and they're going to call it how they do throughout the whole playoffs, and if this was Draymond Green or someone different, I think it's also not fair. But he didn't make a play on the ball. He did kind of wind up and come down. So, like, if that is the rule, by rule, this should be a flagrant foul. But I agree with Lou. I think this is just a good old-fashioned hard foul.
Caruso said
Not if I swipe down on your arm.
I don't even think they should have reviewed it. Like, but when you review it, though, I think you could argue it that, wow, maybe that is a flagrant
because we've
foul.
gotten used to so much soft basketball that we run to the review table every time somebody complains
100%.
or the fans make like, listen, man, that was a good hard foul on Alex Caruso. Nobody ran over, start pushing and shoving and doing all of that nonsense. Them guys got up, he brushed himself off, he shot his free throws after the review. I looked at this, listen, he didn't hit him in the head. Again, he didn't follow through and push him to the ground and make it a bigger deal than what it was. This is playoff basketball. I'm not giving you anything. You got to earn every single point that you're going to put on the board. Go to the free throw line and earn it. Simple and plain.
I like that Caruso said that too. He's like, postseason? No, maybe regular.
That
but
is a great playoff foul.
And I like that response
it's a good
as well.
answer.
But the fact that Caruso, he could lay on the floor and sell it more is the reason why they reviewed it in the first place. I mean, there is a skill to sell a foul like that.
Yeah. So you should sell it harder?
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm saying he laid down just enough to review
But you
it.
also know, you also know the rule. Stay on the ground until your teammates come get you.
100%.
That's also the rule. Stay on the ground until your teammates come and get you.
Just stay consistent too, though. If this was Draymond Green, that's a flagrant foul.
If this is Draymond Green, they still
got priors.
He's got priors.
But if this is Draymond Green, they still review it like they did. But after the review, I don't think he gets a flagrant after.
That's where I think.
Well, no, but also doesn't it depend on whatever little things happen immediately following the foul? Because sometimes there's like
and was there a build-up before where if Caruso and NESMITH were getting into this and getting into it before, I think it changed the dynamic of this foul because then there was some physicality before.
They're waiting for it to explode.
There's a history here.
Yeah.
This is a great foul. It's the playoff. This is what you're taught to do. No easy baskets, especially in the NBA Finals. This can't be a flagrant.
That's nothing.
But after review, I do think it could have went either way.
Thunder. Let's talk about their offense. At least in the last 5.5 or so minutes of this one. 1 of 6 from 2, 0 for 4 from 3. We did see what happened in game 1. It's like things just sort of get bogged down, Chandler. Why?
Also, make a damn free throw at the end of the game.
What's happening?
Everything went wrong for this team. And again, this was the first time I was watching them where they looked young. They looked sloppy. They looked tired. Like, I've never seen SGA's hands on his knees like that, which I don't know if that's anything to look into or not, but they look gassed. And I think that's credit to Pacers' physicality. I think it's the way they guarded them, the way they pressured them 94 feet all game long. You have to credit the Indiana Pacers in a defense, but it's just a game where they're sloppy with the ball. SGA 6 turnovers. You rarely see that.
Weird.
Like, they didn't take care of the ball. They had 19 turnovers, which that's death wish, which the whole box score thing saying 17 with 2 team fouls is a whole another argument.
Yeah, so it's 19 technically
19
overall.
turnovers.
Yeah.
2 team turnovers.
Yeah. So, but again, you can't win a basketball game with your bench getting outscored like that, giving up 19 turnovers to a team that plays really fast and is good in transition. So they have to clean up. At the end of the game, like I said, they looked really young and they looked sloppy.
It's why they have the blue team belt.
They looked
everything you're saying is right. They were rushed. They did look young, and that was based on the turnovers. As a team that's usually efficient, that takes care of the basketball, that affords them to play at their own pace, right? But when you turn the ball over 17 times in live action, that's 17 extra possessions that you have to play defense, that you got to get back. Now I'm playing catch up and I'm trying to figure out how can I make up for these turnovers. That was something uncharacteristic that we've seen from OKC that we hadn't seen in a while in this season that they've had. So everything that you're saying is right. Due to turnovers, they did have to play harder, and they were kind of out of body and out of sync because of that. They weren't taking care of that basketball, and it put them in a position to play on their heels.
The SGA of it all, I think we've gotten so, I mean, obviously he's the MVP, everything great that he's done so far this season, and it is a little weird to sort of see him struggle, I suppose, with the 24 points, because, we thought 34 was a given before he even starts the game. Why do you think that happens last night to SGA? What was the difference?
Again, I think it's a chess match. I think they countered. Nimhard, the first possession of the game, got so physical with them, SGA got a foul in 14 seconds. So I think that was a point to prove, let's get in his face, let's be physical, let's try and speed him up as much as we can, which is really hard to do. And I think he did feel that pressure and physicality all night long. They changed bodies on him, but it was Nimhard, NESMITH. They continued to throw different looks at him. But listen, I'm not going to panic because SGA damn sure is not going to panic. This is one game. Yeah, he didn't have over 30 points. By the way, that bet is smoked.
Which is crazy, by the way.
That
so
bet
used
is
to
smoked.
It.
But again, he's going to watch the film. He's going to break it down. He's going to find ways. Jalen Williams was better last night. Chet was even productive last night. Like, they had some bright spots in this game. They're going to come back. They're going to clean some things up. But SGA, again, I think this day off is going to be huge for him. But he's got to come back and he's got to have a burst of energy.
Yeah. For me, it was the start of the game.
Okay.
And Chandler just mentioned it. You get your first foul in 14 seconds of the game. And then on the offensive end, your very first shot attempt is like a 360 spin, force-up, layup / runner. Those are tough shots. And that's a tough way to start a basketball game. And listen, you do one thing, and then you do another thing, and now you're trying to find a rhythm from having 2 bad possessions back-to-back, trying to start a basketball game. It's tough, especially when you're a scoring guard. When you're a scoring guard, you like to see your first shot in rhythm. You like to, okay, this is where this game is going. It looked like he was out of sync from the beginning, and he was playing catch-up from that moment on, and at that point, it was just tough. And then you have other guys like Chet who's trying to be assertive, who's trying to have a better game. You have a Jalen Williams who's trying to be assertive and have a better game. And so now the ball comes back to you after you've had 2 bad possessions. Everything was out of sync for OKC based on all of those scenarios. But again, I do think this is a team that always responds, and I think they will in Game 4.
And I will say the free throws is a huge part of his game. He was 5 of 6 last night. I don't think 6 attempts enough, but I did find there was possessions last night where he was hunting for a foul. And Indiana, again, they kept his hands
and they
up.
weren't calling them.
They weren't calling the fouls, which I think he's so accustomed to getting that whistle. He didn't get it last night, which was a huge part of the game too, and why he.
That must have been jarring.
Yeah, I think that was. I mean, 6 free throws for this dude. I expect him to have 15 in Game 4.
By the way, fun fact: it's the second time in the postseason that SGA did not lead his team in scoring. They lost both of those games, which I find very, very interesting. So, what is the more credit here? Pacers defense or OKC having an off night?
You got to give credit. You got to give credit to Indiana, and we can go back to that first foul. That is a team that had a game plan, and they went out and they said, "Yeah, we're gonna bring physicality to this game. We're gonna make him uncomfortable. We're gonna get him outside of his rhythm and see if he can make plays." And they also put them in a position to make somebody else beat them. Early on, they had success with it. Lou Dort, they was leaving him wide open, and he was making shots. And again, if you're Indiana and your game plan is somebody else besides SGA has to beat us, and we're okay with Lou Dort making shots early on in this game, and that's the route they're gonna go, we're gonna take that, because in 4 quarters, he's gonna be out of rhythm like he was. And now you're trying to figure out other ways to score the basketball. So you got to give credit to Indiana and the adjustments that they made on the defensive end. They wanted other guys to beat them, and when SGA was off the ball or had the ball, they were going to make it difficult and bring physicality into play, and it worked.
If you told me Jalen Williams had 26, SGA had 24, and Chet had 20, I would think the Thunder won.
Okay,
but the turnovers and the bench got completely demolished.
No, that's a fair. That's why reading stats doesn't tell the story all the time, does it? Taking a quick break. On the other side, Tony Allen is.
Hey, don't look down, look around, TA.
Ooh, he looks very serious right now. Goodness gracious.
Look at the grind, father.
We're getting TA's audio up. In the meantime, we do have some headlines we want to touch base on. Adam Silver talking about expansion. We've got 30 teams right now. We know this, but they are looking to expand to 32. I have opinions on that. Chandler, what do you think?
I don't love it, honestly. I don't love it. I would rather almost move other franchises to better markets than extend it to 32.
Like
which
what?
ones?
I got one in particular that I don't think necessarily deserves a.
Come on, give them their flowers.
Oh,
I was just down there, by the way. They sent their best regards.
Did they? Yeah. Give my best.
Listen,
I just think like a market like Vegas, I think would absolutely dominate. Like, look how good the hockey's done. Look how good the
football. You just like the bright lights, Chandler.
Also,
Seattle.
it'll make South
I
Beach
just think
silly.
there's so many good,
So you're taking what away then? Or are you moving?
I think there's a couple. I think there's. Why are you trying to get me in trouble?
Oh, I want to make sure we follow up on the story.
I think the first 2 to go would be New Orleans and Memphis.
Okay.
But again, I think Seattle and Vegas are huge markets that I think would really explode and, optimize those teams. So I don't like going to 32 teams. I think 30 is a great number.
I don't like it either. I don't like expanding and diluting the product.
I do think financially it makes more sense to move a couple of these franchises.
I like it. businesses are booming, expand. You know, you give a Vegas an opportunity to get a team. You give a Seattle an opportunity to get a team back, especially when you see the success that OKC has had in the years and years that they've left Seattle. And that was a great fan base. I'm old enough to say that I've played in Seattle. Great fan base. I wouldn't take away Memphis. I think that's also a great fan base when they're winning, they're being successful. New Orleans, I'm on the fence about, but I'm more in the breath of expanding and bringing more and more to the game.
I don't know, man.
And even like the right now, OKC, Indiana in the finals is small markets. Like, I don't care about the ratings or people. This is an awesome series. The crowds are involved.
Agreed.
Like, it is electric in both
That's why
these
you don't
buildings.
that's why you don't take away those type of vibes.
Okay, but can I counter that?
It's the hottest ticket in town.
Because then we're going to get to the part of the season where the draft lottery pops up. You're going to have a bunch of crap teams at the bottom, and then we're going to have to all argue again about who tanks, who doesn't, and what's it all mean.
100%. I think that's going to never change.
Fine. You know what? Let's bring someone in now that can lend his
TA,
expertise to what we're talking about.
One of the best perimeter defenders.
Where my dogs at? Ball, all of my dogs, ball to the dance.
This guy, Tony Allen.
He is a competitor. I'll come at your name.
I don't know if you heard, Tony, but Chandler wants to remove the Memphis Grizzlies.
Not what I said, Tony. That's not what I said.
What do you think about that?
I was sitting here. That's what you said.
First of all, they put a gun to my head. Second of all, they said what two franchises
I
think
wanna
would be
put a
the
gun to
first
your
to
head,
go,
in
and I said
fairness.
New Orleans and
Hey.
Memphis. I think would be the first.
TA,
to
he
move.
trying to get them boys off Beale
Yeah, what do you
Street,
think?
man.
I'm trying to get us to Vegas, TA. Sue me.
Memphis is here to stay, man. You know, this is the Grand City, man. We here to come, man.
How dare you?
You just threw me
wanna-
right under the bus.
You want to remove Memphis while we talk to the grind?
That's why I thought it was perfect timing.
You said his audio
up
didn't
here?
work. I thought I could sneak it in.
Well, his audio, he can still hear us. All right, Tony, first of all, welcome back. Secondly, we got ourselves a series. Talk to me about what you saw last night.
Well, I saw Oklahoma City. They came out with a good, force in the first quarter, but I thought those adjustments that Indiana made defensively pretty much showed SGA a different lens in game three.
Yep.
And it's one of those situations where they're going to blitz, they're going to make changes. That was one of the adjustments. A lot of times, SHAI Gilgeous come off those pick and rolls. He get his ISO with his big, or he get in his ISO matchup and he get into a spot and he's scoring. He's the MVP, obviously. But I think they took the approach back in the old school days, back when I played. When we see somebody that's hot, that's unstoppable, we call it blitz, and that's what we do. We trap that pick and roll. We trap them at all costs, and we make those other guys beat you. And I thought Indiana did a good job of them playing they pick and roll offense, getting Halliburton being more aggressive. And it opens it up for Turner, Siakam. And I think he got those guys rolling yesterday. Yeah. But it started with the defense, though.
I'm glad, and that is your thing. You are the defense guy. And these two teams, man, it's like flip-flop each night. One's just even more defensively amazing than the other. When you're watching both these, and they're both young, like, it's got to give you some pride, right? Like, young guys care.
Yeah, it's a young man's game, man. I think that's why, the old cats like myself is pretty much extinct. Well, you got Lou Dort guys who still wear, the defensive pride on their game. But, yeah, it's a young man's sport, man. And I'm loving every bit of it.
It's just crazy, TA, because when someone asks how the game went, the first question is how many points you had. Now with these two teams, it's like I feel like they don't care.
stops?
Yeah, they're locking
Not all
in. They're defending. Guys like NESMITH, Nembhard, they don't give a damn. They're just defending.
TA, and I want to ask you about that. When you see OKC and what they've been able to do on the defensive end, they clogging the lanes, they putting pressure, they in the passing lanes. They got guys that can guard 1 through 5. They can switch everything. As a defensive master that you were in your career, what would you say to these guys? And how hard is it for so many young guys to buy in to be a defensive-minded basketball team?
I always look at it like, being a star in your role. Obviously, coming to a situation, when you get drafted to this team, teams are pretty much set, as far as the salary cap. You can look at the salary and know who's to get the ball to. Now, within that, when you come to that organization, it's okay, how do I fit in and be a piece to a puzzle? How do I win these minutes? And this trust from the coach is mainly what the most important thing is, understanding the attention to detail on the defensive end, understand where we're trying to get the ball offensively, understanding your role. I'm going to shoot low clock. I'm going to defend my man. I'm going to box out. I'm going to play the 50-50 game, pretty much is what they call it back in my day, and just be a glue guy.
Yeah.
And People have made a lot of money doing that in this league.
But you
They
just
stand out, trust me.
You just said it, and one of those guys is Lou Dort. What do you think of Lou Dort's game and his impact on the defensive end?
First team all defense, hands down. He's one of those guys, man, you know, who don't look for the screen. He goes through the screen.
Right.
And I like those type of cats, man. Who's team first guy, like I say, glue guy, ready to do any and everything for you. And you gotta understand, see his physicality, his structure, the way he's built. He's built like a linebacker. So that's pretty scary in itself. And just to have that mentality to know that I'm gonna hold my hat on the defensive end for the Oklahoma City Thunder, he's been doing it well, man. So shout out to Lou Dort.
Yeah, T.A. Paul George recently said that the days of having NBA stoppers are they're essentially gone, right? We mentioned guys like Lou Dort, Kid Dyson Daniels, he clamps. Like, is there anyone that you see and you're like, okay, that guy, he plays like, 90s type defense. He's still buying into basically defense?
90s defense. He ain't that old, Chandler. God,
no, I'm saying, but like, you think of the physicality, you think of these tough. I'm thinking, you know what I mean?
No, I mean, it's a lot of them that stand out. Like I say, it ain't too many of them left. Like I say, when I played, the league was going in, you got to shoot the three. So all the defensive guys, we was out of there. And if I could say anybody that I like watching, I got my little man, Davion Mitchell. Davion Mitchell, he locks up, man. And you know what I mean? I keep in tune with him a lot. But this is my chance to give him his shout out, man. So shout out little Davion Mitchell.
Tia, you obviously guarded some of the greats, Kobe, LeBron, KD, Steph, Melo. I could go on and on. How would you guard a guy like SGA with how talented, how shifty he is, and how good he is getting to the free throw line?
I've been saying it all along. I'll guard him just like how I would guard Kobe. You know what I mean? He got all the moves that Kobe got, man. I'm pretty sure he studied this game. I haven't heard anything about who he mimics his game after, but a lot of what he does get to his spots, and that's what Kobe did. Kobe would get into some razzle-dazzle and get his dribble going if he had to, but most importantly, he made all his shots easy, and he get to his spot. But the one difference I would say I would have to stick shape differently is I had to brace myself for that little push-off he does. He always get to his spot, whereas when Kobe used to get to his spot, he'd head fake. You know what I'm saying? Get his defender off balance in the air, and I've been hit with that a few times. But in his case, I think I would be really willingly ready for the brace to that bump and be able to have my feet strong enough and ready to contest or close out and get close to a shot, you know what I'm saying, all throughout the game. And not to get discouraged when he scores, because he is the MVP, he gonna score. But you gotta have that mindset to say, hey, I'm gonna be doing this for the whole night. And not too many people have passed that test.
You know what, TA? Let me get your opinion on this, because this been a topic of discussion on social media and on pods as well. People trying to say LeBron James don't have an offensive bag. What's your thoughts on that?
The all-time leading scorer.
The all-time leading scorer don't have a bag.
Who said that?
Man, well, when you look at bag, man, all they gotta do is go on YouTube. I'm talking all the shots that you think that he ain't no way he gonna hit this. Well, that guy is in there working on those type of shots. Those 5, 4, 3, 2 shots. When you that big, I think when you go in the gym, that's part of your workout. You get what I'm saying? Those fadeaway shots. You get what I'm saying? If I would say only bag he didn't master was just that post. I think he probably, if he did master that early on in his career, that fadeaway little post jump shot at a consistent rate, people would be saying another like narrative. But for the most part, 6'9", 260. What type of bag do I really need if I got 40,000 points? What type of bag do I really need? What type of bag do I really need if I'm stronger than you, faster than you, and smarter than you? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he doesn't need the craziest handle. He could just.
Yeah, it don't take much for me to get to my spots. Yeah.
Hey, Lou, you know how they said back in the day, you work smart, not hard.
You already know that. Now, TA.
Come on, man.
Now, you know we spent a lot of time behind the scenes with one of the biggest generational trash talkers of all time in Big Ticket. But you don't get your flowers for all the trash talk that you talked. What was some of the?
Listen.
Yeah, go ahead, get it there.
Listen. See, a lot of times, you know, it's really a conversation for me. You know what I mean? And it's a real quick conversation. I'll tell you something I used to say though, like the he with us is pretty much. say, right?
Yeah.
So I would change it up. I would start talking in third person. If I get a stop, I'll just say, good DTA. I get to talking to myself. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy.
Hey, I get to the hey Chandler, I get to the point where you missed the shot, I'm running down, I'm smacking my own ass.
That is
By the way,
awesome.
Beadle,
That's so
he
good.
with us is basically when a guy shoots
Oh, I
before he
know.
even misses it.
I know.
The whole bench is screaming,
Paul
he with
Pierce-
us.
Paul
Trying to
Pierce
hand him a
likes to
shooting
talk about it a
shirt.
whole
Come
lot.
on over here, buddy. You with us.
Wait, did it ever backfire? Because I think the best part of trash talk is when you finish it up and you win and it's all great. But I have to believe that sometimes you've trash talked and it backfires, or maybe they light you up in return. Like, has that ever happened?
Yeah, man, you just took me back with that one. I remember playing Reggie Miller my rookie year. You know, I got a chance to start in the playoffs, things of that nature. And when we got to the playoff, I was just so excited to be alongside Reggie Miller. And I'm like, damn, I'm playing against Reggie Miller. So my first basket that I get as a rookie in the playoff, I tip dunked Reggie Miller. Tip dunked him. And caught him and put the ball in his stomach. And that man told me, hey, young fella, I appreciate that. You woke me up.
Yeah.
We won that game. We won that game.
But he went off.
The next game, he had 35. hey, game 3, I was out the lineup.
That's awesome.
That's
a
unbelievable.
backfire.
Tony, it's crazy to even say this because it's been 17 years since you became an NBA champion. What do you remember, like, looking back most about that series versus the Lakers in 2008?
Man, a lot kicks out, man. Just our groundwork, how we started, going to Rome, having a training camp, everybody just having that one team, one goal mindset, everybody, coming together, doing everything together, on the court, off the court. It was almost like camaraderie off the court helped us on the court. And I thought it was just a tough battle for Paul, Ray, taking those guys to change their game. Each of those guys was averaging 27 a game. To everybody to come to one team and sacrifice and say, hey, man, we're going to let Rondo run this show. You know what I'm saying? We got the championship experience from James Posey. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of pieces. Shout out P.J. Brown. He was coming in on the end out of retirement to even come help us win that, man. So a lot played a part in us winning that. And just getting to the finals, man, and that stage, man. Every shoot around, it's 80, 90 cameras. We got 200-300 fans outside of each arena. I'm talking about the crowd going wild, man. The intensity, I'm talking about when you lose, you might not go to sleep. If you lose one of those games, you might not go to sleep. You up all night thinking about, damn, what could I have did? What could I have done? But the ultimate, the goal and the prize to get that trophy, I'm talking about, it was an experience I'll never forget, man. I cherish it, I love it. So shout out to the Boston Celtics. In 17 years, man, we need to, damn near time for us to have
almost 20-year anniversary.
Yeah, it's almost time for us to have a 20-year anniversary. We need to get together.
Let me ask you this, though, T.A., with the roster that y'all had and winning that championship, when y'all go down memory lane, is the attitude was like, hell yeah, we got one, or is it like, damn, we could have got 2 or 3 of these? What's the attitude when y'all talk about it?
Yeah, most definitely. We always say we supposed to got 2, Obviously, we couldn't get one in 2009. Ticket had an injury. But following back in 2010, we were able to, get back to the finals. I thought, if Kendrick Perkins wouldn't have got hurt, I thought he was doing a great job, defending their bigs. Powell, Bynum, and those guys. I thought if he don't get hurt, I think I'm sitting pretty with 2 rings right now, for sure. 2. You know what I mean?
And shout out to UTA, because you're probably the first person that done gave Perk his flowers. Shout out to that, yeah.
Oh no, that's Big Swamp thing. Hey, he definitely play a role in all of what we was doing,
Absolutely.
man. You know what I mean? He definitely got a swagger to himself to where, hey, man, if it wasn't for me, you understand, it wouldn't be no rings. So he hold his own, man. That's my man, Big Perk. Shout out Big Perk.
We always love having you on. This thing's going 7, so hopefully we'll get you back on next week at some point as well.
See you in a minute, T.A.
Appreciate it, T.A.
I'll take the break.
Love, bro.
Run it up, run it back.
Because sources reporting that the Celtics We know Jaylen Brown just had a procedure done, but they're allegedly open to hearing offers for possibly Derrick White and or Jaylen Brown. I mean, you do that, right?
I think you kind of have to, right? With how this season ended, with all the money about the tax and the second apron and all the decisions financially they're going to have to make, it just logically seems like they're going to lose one or two of these guys. With Tatum being out for all next season, he's kind of off the board. So I think all of them are kind of up for discussion.
So are you just chalking up next year as like it's going to be a wash?
No, because I think with Jaylen Brown and with the pieces around him still, with the Peyton Pritchards, with, either Holiday or whoever, Porzingis, whoever they keep, they're still right there in the Eastern Conference.
I know, but if you move Brown.
Competitive. I wouldn't move Brown. I wouldn't move Jaylen Brown personally.
You know what it is when you go to a restaurant and you know you're not going to have dessert? Let me see the menu anyways. I just want to hear
to see the menu.
I just want to hear what you got going on. I don't think Jaylen Brown is going to get moved. But again, when a guy like Luka gets traded, and you create waves like that, you got to listen to everything. You got to see what's out there.
And this is why marriage doesn't work.
I don't think they move him.
For them to be competitive next year, they have to have Jaylen Brown on the roster. Who knows what they can get back for him or what that looks like. Shams already reported this is going to be bananas of a free agency starting on the draft, by the way.
Speaking of Shams, we got a Giannis Shams beef brewing.
I saw that. Did we all take that as like, ooh, that was something against Shams? Or did we just take it as Giannis shouting out,
Giannis, stay off Shams, man. Shams is a good dude.
No,
He's just doing his job.
But do you think it was anti-Shams? Or do you think it was more pro-Woj?
It was anti-Shams.
It was
I mean,
he's had some other comments about Shams in the past as well.
Interesting. Well, now
Shams,
I'm
hate to see it,
distracted. I mean, we know Shams is a bit sensitive, so I don't think he likes that. Where are we going right now?
We're protecting the brother Shams. I'm bad. I don't know.
I don't know, but they're not, and they shouldn't trade Jaylen Brown with Jason Tatum out. They can't do that. They can still be competitive next year with him and with the pieces that they got. Don't do that.
But are they a top 2 team? They're not. If you don't have Tatum
top 2
and
is
Brown,
hard because Cleveland's coming back with the same team. They're going to be a great regular season team. Indiana Pacers are young, and the
Pacers are champions.
They're going to be there. The Knicks are going to be there. Philly's going to be better. The Eastern
Orlando's
Conference is naturally going to be better. Orlando's going to be better. So the conference in general is going to be more competitive.
I think they also knew that they had a certain window as well.
That's fair.
Yeah.
They knew this money.
And these injuries and they had these decisions before Jason Tatum got hurt. So this kind of just expedites those decisions, makes them happen probably sooner than later. But I would think Jaylen Brown would be the last one to go out of Porzingis, Holiday, and White.
I definitely think Porzingis would be first.
But again, listen, Shams said it. This is probably going to be one of the craziest off seasons in moves being made that we've ever seen. So with that being said, so many moving pieces, especially superstar and all-star caliber guys that's in the class of a Jaylen Brown, you got to listen.
You never don't take a call.
You got to listen.
Quick break. Wrap things up. Other side. Boom. There will be pie.
They're running back. Run it up. Running back.
But guys, we have pie. This is sugar cream pie, and in honor of the Indiana Pacers kicking butt, this is allegedly one of their things that they're known for. I've never had it. We ordered it. Let's see what we got. I do crust first.
Not bad.
Uh-oh, I don't like that fish.
You don't like it? I'm not a big pie guy.
Not bad.
I know
not bad. A little cinnamony.
Yeah, a little cinnamon.
Not for me.
For me.
But it's not bad.
Crust is good.
Thanks for the cream pie, Beats.
Tomorrow.
Run it back, run it up, they run it back, yeah.